Welcome to our recap of the Big Brother Canada Season 3 finale.
This is the moment. This is the moment we've all been waiting for.
Well,
episode 29 and the finale.
It's the 120 moments we've been waiting for.
All right. Final three is Godfrey, Sarah, and Ashley.
Who would have thunk it?
Not them.
I would not have predicted these three in the end, that's for sure. Alright, so the show started off with like this dramatic piece with them reading scripts about how they made it to the end.
I hate that they did that.
I wasn't feeling that. It didn't feel right for the show.
This season has had the most twists, the most showmances, the most alliances, the most bathroom breaks, and the best challenges.
Okay, so we got to see a lot of that in like a 10-minute recap. But there were multiple 10-minute recaps throughout the show.
Yeah, what was up with that?
I don't know. They had to fill the 2 hours.
3-part HOH.
I think we could have done with a little less of that and a little more of reunion jury chat kind of thing.
Yeah, I would have liked that. So, part 1, it's nuclear winter, or...
as Ashley says, nuclear winter.
Nuclear winter.
Ashley, no! Alright, so it's called The End of Time.
It's basically
an endurance
post-apocalyptic set with 3 sands of time vessels. You get a freaking bucket, and you gotta keep the thing from pouring out. You gotta run up the stairs, put it in.
You dump it back in, you gotta keep going. Eventually, your sand's gonna run out.
Well, it's not just that you have to worry about. There's rando earthquakes and explosions.
Ah!
I guess it was probably hot in there, too.
Probably. I mean, just running up and down those stairs, ugh.
Well, Ashley's having a rough time.
At one point, she's just letting the sand fall out. She's just sitting there like, at least put your bucket down.
I know, for crying out loud. So I thought, oh man, she's going to be the first one out.
But Sarah was the first one out. I mean, there was probably more of that we didn't see. I'm sure Sarah had her moments too, but what?
They wasted all that time on the freaking dramatic recap. They had to cut somewhere.
They can only show so much of each competition
so
before
Sarah
we're just
was out first. Ashley, come on, she freaking quit when she had like less than a few minutes left.
Well, she knew that she wasn't going to be Godfrey. He had a lot of sand left compared to her.
Yeah, don't quit.
He had a lot left compared to her. She was probably about to pass out.
Nobody likes to quit.
All right, well, Godfrey won part 1 of the final HOH
All right,
comp.
so what do you do when somebody else wins? You get your ass into strategy mode and you start talking yourself up.
Well, let's talk about part 2 first.
Oh.
So, Godfrey moves straight on to part 3. Part 2 is Sarah versus Ashley.
The final frontier.
This one's a real thinker. It's a mental puzzle kind of thing.
It's one of those ones where it's like if-then. If it fits in this one, then something else has to fit in the other one. Statements between two.
Okay, so the statement has to match for 2 house guests.
Right.
But it could work for like a couple, so you gotta figure out what goes where.
Exactly. Both Sarah and Ashley got stuck on the same clue.
But what we didn't see until they revealed the times at the end is that Ashley freaking kicked Sarah's A.
Sarah took like 20-something minutes, and Ashley did it in like 4.
Oh my gosh.
That was so bad. Get ready for the pity party. You got a
Sarah's self-deprecating montage.
Idiot.
You suck. You suck. Oh,
so stupid. I can't believe it. I'm a healthcare professional. No, that's someone else.
Oh, she's not. So, okay. Sarah is like, crap. I can't win the final HOH. So now she's got to rely on somebody else to bring her to the end. So she's like, I got to work this.
She talks to Godfrey. She talks to Ashley. She gives him the hard sell. She's basically like, look, kids, I'm going to hold my vote hostage if you don't take me. If you don't take me, I'm not voting for you.
You got to vote for someone. You can only really say that to one person because you got to vote for someone.
One person at a time.
Well, I mean, they're going to talk.
Are they?
All right, so let's talk about the jury house.
All right. They have a special guest. Oh, hello, America's Ian.
Oh, Ian, Tulane Terry.
Ian.
Ian Terry, the winner of season 14.
They couldn't get evil Dr. Will
No.
because he wanted money, and they said no.
Did you guys see? Dr. Will's been stirring up a lot of drama on Twitter with Big
Oh.
Brother Canada. It's pretty wild, but anyway.
All right, so Brittany arrives.
And everyone's just like, what?
Most of the jury seems to be rooting for Ashley.
You know why? Because all the diapers are on the jury.
That's right.
You know, I don't know if they were all rooting for her, but it seemed that way because Peely was like, ah! So yeah.
She is a cheerleader.
The combination of Peely and Kevin's screams,
Yes.
it sounded like everyone was for
Those
Ashley.
two are made for each other. Holy cow.
Okay.
It seemed like from the chatting amongst themselves as well, they didn't seem to respect Godfrey's game all that much.
They said that he slept the whole time.
All right, well, it's time for Arissa to check in. And she asks, did you guys ever expect to be here?
No. I was hoping that
pretty
someone
shocked,
would
too.
be like, yeah, I knew I was going to be here. Good job.
All right, well, part 3 of the HOH.
Is Pretend Live.
Is it?
This whole show is
Oh.
Pretend Live.
It's questions about the jury. So there's 7 questions. After the 7 questions, it was a tie.
Mm-hmm.
They go to the 3 tiebreaker questions.
That was
It's
a
still
real
tie. Yeah.
kind of thing going on.
Yeah.
I thought Godfrey was going to take it, but then Ashley tied it up.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Then there was sudden death. How many hours did Cindy stay in the house the second time? And here I'm trying to calculate in my head, and I have no idea, but I'm thinking like 1,000.
What? All right,
don't
well,
know.
the answer was like 280 or something,
Yeah.
or 284.
284.
So
And Godfrey-
Ashley went over.
Yeah.
Godfrey won the final HOH competition.
What? Good job,
Hey,
Godfrey.
it's the time when he needed it the most. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, he won 2 out of 3. Well, 2 out of the 2 that he was in.
Well, now he has the important task of picking one other person to go to the final 2 with him.
Obviously, he's made promises to both of them.
Of course.
So he decides to take Sarah, he says, because he doesn't want to give it to the showmances. No showmances in the final.
I mean, the last 2 winners have been from showmances. I think you could argue that John and Netta were definitely.
Well, I think you might be able to argue that Sarah and Willow were showmans.
Sort of.
So,
Yeah, but
there's that.
Zach and Ashley were like a clear showmans.
Okay. Well, Arissa has a little chat with Ashley, and basically she's like, yeah, when the meat shields went, that's when I had to start playing. Had to listen to people.
I'm
Had to talk
sorry,
to
but
them.
like I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, Ashley's so awesome" because she won all those competitions in the last like week or whatever, but I just can't get behind that. She just sat around on her butt like the whole
On
game.
her Ashley.
Yeah. I just can't.
All right. Send in the jury.
Okay.
And Ashley.
So they find out that Ashley is the last member of the jury and they're like, "Oh no."
Zach, with an awful lot of makeup on, says, "Oh,
A couple
gee,
of them
damn
looked
it."
like they were wearing a lot of makeup.
Yeah. All right. So the jury gets to question the final 2.
I thought the questions overall were really good. I thought
they were
Godfrey
very
and
good.
Sarah were giving really good, honest
They
answers.
really were. You know,
It was just a really nice.
there was no snippiness.
going on.
There was no Susan Hawkiness going on.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I love moments like that too, but I just felt like it was a really good like game discussion.
Yeah. I love when Jordan called Sarah the lady pleaser. You were thinking that he was asking
Godfrey.
but he
That was
totally
pretty
asked Sarah.
clever.
Yeah.
All right, so
Good job, Bowtie.
then it was time for them to give their final statements. Sarah's like, I have strengths and weaknesses. I use them both, blah, 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 blah. I talked game to everyone. And
She was on fleek from day 1. She was playing that game.
she had to be. She was a target for some reason.
Well, apparently Godfrey was too. He was an outcast. He had to go after the showmances. He'd made some big moves without making big moves.
Without making any moves. He had a very interesting strategy. He tried to put it all out there so people would think that they knew what he was doing so that they would feel comfortable working with him.
He kind of flew under the radar. He had a decent social game, and he didn't.
Decent.
Yeah.
Well, he made it, you know, he described that his social game was so good that he never had to worry about winning competitions. to be
Exactly.
safe.
And he had no blood on his hands at the end of the day, except for Ashley's.
All right.
All right, so this time you must vote for who you want to win. Do not topaz out. Everybody had a little quip when they put their thing in. Of course, Jardin was like, I'm not going to be a topaz.
Oh, you wait, Jordan. Okay. So then they tried out the first 4 people who didn't make the jury.
Well, they showed them sitting in the loser section.
Hi.
That's all we need from you.
Okay.
I can't believe they didn't even talk to them at all.
It was kind of weird. Kind of weird. All right, so then it was time for Arissa to reveal the final twist.
There's a clip of ugly Ashley coming out to play.
We don't mean ugly. We mean like inside. No.
She was very angry at Godfrey because they were trying to decide who needs to be evicted from the jury.
Yeah.
They couldn't come
They
out
all
of the
got
vault
pretty
until they
nasty,
did it.
but
Especially Ashley. Well, they edited her ugly.
okay.
So, Jordan, sorry, your vote don't count.
You shouldn't have even been on the jury.
Yeah, he was the first one on the jury, and that's pretty much the reasoning they gave for
Well, they
finally
also-
choosing him.
They were very diplomatic about it in that they didn't want to pick anyone who was like a sure vote for someone. They wanted to pick someone who was kind of a wild card and wasn't, you know,
Right.
could have voted for anyone.
Neutral.
Yeah.
Switzerland.
So it
Right.
turns out he voted for Sarah. So that's
All
a
right.
vote that she's not going to get.
So, another
More
recap.
montages.
There was too many alliances this season. There was about 1 million of them, actually. There was great catchphrases, though, that will continue on for seasons to come.
Thanks, Godfrey.
I want your blood on these hands. And, you know, you snake!
Yeah. And then they talked about all the twists this season. Some would say
Too many twists.
too many.
Too many twists.
All right. So then they talk about the showmances. 2 months is a long time to be cooped up in this house.
Without batteries.
Ah! All right.
Really?
So, like, a lot of people were getting in on the showmances.
It's boring in there, let's face it. There's not much to do.
There's a lot of downtime.
But they cannot stay away from the burping and farting montages. Why are people so fascinated with that?
Save that for the after party. All right.
Everybody poops.
It's time to reveal the votes.
All right, so Sarah ended up getting Cindy's vote, Kevin's vote, Willow's vote, Zach's vote, Pilar's vote, and we don't know who else's vote because they didn't show all of the votes.
Well, if you counted that out, that means that Sarah won. Godfrey definitely got Bobby and Bruno's vote, possibly another one. But Sarah is the winner of Big Brother Canada
Congratulations,
3.
Sarah.
I think it was well deserved. I'm excited. I'm happy with the outcome.
Yeah, me
Congrats
too.
to Sarah.
And at the end, she said she did it for her family.
She did it for all the quirky people out there.
I love that she said that.
Yeah, that was cool.
It's a dream come true. She
I
loves
love how she like
Canada.
made a speech. Like that's not something that happens every time.
I love
I
you,
got something
Canada.
to say.
I love you, Canada. If it wasn't for Canada, she wouldn't have made it because she certainly would have been out that week
Well, I don't know about that,
or
but
soon. And Godfrey for coming in second, I guess gets 20,000. So
Yeah.
good for him.
Yay,
He got something out of
Godfrey.
it. Not much, but he got something.
everybody's getting something.
So, thanks for sticking with us, guys. We enjoyed the season. Let us know in the comments what you thought of the outcome. Be sure and subscribe so you don't miss any of the coverage for BBUSA 17.
Yep.
And until next time,
Much love.
love.